Hi, it's Casey again from Eurasian Auto Service. Eurasian Auto has been in business for 40 plus years. I've been a Porsche tech for 10 years. I'm a veteran Porsche tech. What we're going to talk about today is 944 and potential damage if not done right when you reseal the front of the engine or if you do a timing belt change. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this apart here, okay? And this is for demonstration. What you're going to start with is going to look something like this, okay? But I've taken that stuff out so that it'll just be easier for demonstration purposes. Alright, you're going to do this nut here, and of course it's going to be a lot tighter than that. So remember, I've had this apart just so I can show you. This is your power steering pump pulley, okay? And this is a bolt and it has a washer with it too. As you can see, it's a very specific style washer. Then you pull off. This is your alternator, alternator and AC pulley here, and then this is your balance shaft belt pulley here. This comes off in one piece, okay? Notice that it is keyed to the crankshaft. That gives positive engagement to the crankshaft so that it can be timed correctly. Now, this here is the cam belt pulley. This is the most critical part, okay? Notice the lip is to the outside. For some reason it gets swapped. It can very easily be swapped either way. If swapped, this lip here goes against the oil pump housing. And when it does, and when you torque it down, it'll go and sit flush against it. And it'll leave marks in it. And if you torque it to the specified torque, this nut, this bolt here, when you put it all back together and you torque it to specified 155 foot-pounds, it presses hard against the oil pump here, and basically the engine locks up. And you should notice it shouldn't start afterwards. But what happens is people don't realize that bolt torques so high, and they just kind of pull it till it's good and snug and say, okay, that's good. But actually what it does is, I'll show you on the next part, we pull this key off. Okay, this is what keys, gives positive engagement to the crankshaft for the cam drive sprocket. Okay, so we pull that off. We have a little washer here. Okay, then we have an O-ring, okay, that helps seal. Now, this is the oil pump drive. Okay, notice that I can turn it any which way. And if you look on the inside of it, it is not splined, keyed, or anything. It is smooth. So what drives the oil pump is all these things that I just took off, all these pulleys, put it in compression. So if you get this on there the wrong way, it will not apply the proper compression and the oil pump drive will slip at high RPM and your oil pressure will be affected. You'll have a drop in oil pressure at high RPM. It'll be so bad that the oil light will flicker. And that's usually an indication that this is wrong. This is not installed properly or that the crankshaft bolt was not torqued properly. To torque the crankshaft bolt, you need a flywheel lock. This goes in place of the starter. You pull the starter out, this goes in place of it, and that locks it down. There's not a lot of literature about this, and like I said, it's easier to swap this thing and get it backwards. But you can easily see from the bottom side underneath the pulley if there is a rib part here, if this washer, if this backed up plate is against the case. If you see that against the case, then it's wrong, and potential engine damage will incur. So it has to be just like this. That's how it's meant to go. Everybody likes to put the flange against that. And you can see hard against the oil pump case. Okay? That causes engine damage. Alright? Remember, this is keyed to the crankshaft, and this is not. What keeps it in tension is if it's being installed correctly. This free spins, this oil pump drive does. So it has to be to the proper torque of 155 foot-pounds. It also has, this pulley is the key, it has to be installed properly. If somebody were to take the power steering pump off, also there's enough thread usually that the pulley will give positive engagement and you can reach the torque of 155 foot-pounds and maintain good compression on the oil pump drive sprocket. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. If you guys are resealing it, if anybody's doing a reseal on it, make sure that this pulley goes in correctly. And I'm going to show you how to reinstall it now. The oil pump drive sits almost flush. See how it barely sticks out? That's what you're looking for. It's easy to get it not installed properly and get it on top of the teeth. See? See how that sits on top of the teeth? You want it to go almost flush You have to kind of play with it and get it in there. There it goes. So now it's right. Okay, put your O-ring on. Put your washer on. Put your keyway in place. The keyway is a little tricky to get in the spot sometimes. And I use a pair of dice normally to pull it out with. And you can clean it up and file it too if you mess it up. Remember, the lipped edge goes to the outside, not the other way around. Okay? And this is pushed in place. Notice the gap. See how it's not hard against the oil pump? Okay, now keyway right there should be hanging over just a little bit. That grabs positive engagement for the balance shaft sprocket. Okay, and then that goes on. And basically you put it off center, or off keyway just a little bit, and then when it goes in place, it falls in. You can feel it positive lock, that way you know. Another common mistake is if that is not in depth and everything's not pushed in properly, you don't have much of a lip here. So what it does, this centers up on the crankshaft, on that lip that hangs out. If this doesn't center up well, you'll tighten it up and this pulley will be off center one way or the other, and that'll mess your tension on the oil pump drive. That'll mess it up too. So you make sure you feel around, get a good center. Okay, and you start your nut in, your bolt in. Now, and then you'll have your flywheel lock in place when you torque this. You'll use a good high quality torque wrench like this. You'll set it to 155 foot-pounds, and it takes a lot of muscle. 155 foot-pounds is a lot. Until it clicks or whatever light illuminates on your torque wrench. Alright, then remove your flywheel lock. I recommend that you buy a flywheel lock if you don't have one, because a buddy with a pry bar or something like that, you just can't get in there to hold it, and it's going to turn. It's going to take a lot of effort to get 155 foot-pounds. People don't realize that that's what it torques to. Again, I'm Casey with your Eurasian Auto Service. Appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, just give me a call, 205-251-9263.